What does Dane's dragon think?
Oh, yeah. I'd
Yeah.
be so interested in seeing, I know we said this before, like seeing how their relationship actually is. Because I do
They're
think
both
that,
just like nerding out on the codex together,
yeah,
saluting
saluting.
their various flags and statues of leadership as they go to bed at night,
Oh my god.
shining their armor and their scales, singing their national Empyrean anthem.
Recording.
Okay. I'm just gonna eat the last of my mini eggs. Very important mini eggs.
Oh.
Mini eggs are slightly cheaper now that Easter's over, which means they're
Yeah.
like the price they should be.
Oh,
or
yeah.
closer to.
Yeah. Have I ever told you about when I used to live in the center of Manchester with a mate, and we used to go the day after Easter and spend like £10 on like 16 Easter eggs.
They throw them away now, don't they?
Yeah, it's like the most
Or do
heartbreaking.
they throw them out.
I haven't seen anything. I went to the shop the day after and I didn't see anything.
They get them all and they throw them in a skip out the back.
Maybe I need to start going dumpster diving. If I was so
If I lived
desperate.
nearer to you, I'd have suggested it already.
Let's go dumpster diving. Let's go find chocolate.
You can go, like, just pull your hood up. I've got like one of those fashion balaclavas somewhere.
A baklava.
A baklava, yeah. We'll go.
Yeah.
I have a news broadcast for you.
Let's go. 100%.
The glasses are back. I remembered them this time.
Oh.
I think I should have put my hair up as well. It's not very.
Oh my god, no, because you look adorable with the side parting and the glasses. I love it.
I'm going down the librarian route more so than news anchor, I think.
I think you mean scribe.
Oh yeah, shit. Sorry. My bad.
Oh my god.
I'm gonna fall out halfway through. Right.
Oh good. Wait, are you ready? 3.
Yeah. Wait, hang on. No, I lied. I just need my microphone to be in the right place as well, otherwise the sound's gonna be messed up.
Yeah. Okay. Are you ready?
This is Don't Tell the Boys News, and here are today's headlines. Dain challenges Violet to a sparring match to force a conversation, but she rebuffs him. He seems not to know anything about venin. Cam/Arik tells Violet that he knows. Violet and the squad go through interrogation training. Varrish intervenes to try and break Violet and instructs Dain to read her memories, but he refuses. They escape with help from Mend and Nolan. Propaganda about the fall of Zolya is distributed during Battle Brief, but is covered up by Markham. Jack Barlowe is alive and has been brought back to health by Varrish and Nolan. Mira and Xaden's outpost is attacked and Violet flies off without leave to see if Xaden's okay. Xaden and Violet enter a physical relationship again without either of their conditions being fully met. Violet joins Xaden for a weapons exchange and meets Catriona, Xaden's ex. Varrish tries to punish Violet for going AWOL, but Kaori and Rhiannon save her. Violet tells the squad about the venin. Riddick shares possible location of the journals of Basquiat's founders. Violet and Aya are ambushed. Aya is assassinated, and Violet is saved by an unknown ally.
Ally! You literally did that within like 55 seconds. And I also think that was really good. And I think it's genuinely so much happened. But the chapters were so big. Like, no, that's not, so little happened, but the chapters were so big because it was like big things that happened. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I thought the same, and that's why I was able to do that a bit slower this time, because it felt like there was more. It felt like it was a bigger 10 chapters, but ultimately less happened.
Yeah.
Anyway, on to today's top story. What did you think of the last 10 chapters?
what a freaking roller coaster. I feel like because the last 10, not the 10 that we just read, the ones from the previous chapters, it felt a little bit slow. I was going to say boring, but boring isn't the right word. It was just a little bit slow.
It was a little slow.
Yeah. I feel like this one really went into like drama, and then it slowed down a little bit, and then holy crap, like there was a mixture of everything in these 10, and I'm getting to the point now, and I posted this on Threads the other day, and I had a couple of people just tell me to basically bear with her, but I'm getting so annoyed with Violet and her just being not whiny. Okay, I haven't reached the point where I think she's whiny, but she is really starting to stress me out now. That's my takeaway for these 10 chapters. Like, Violet is starting to grind my gear. And I know a lot has happened, that I'm sure we'll go into it, but yeah, these 10 chapters, I was like, girl, please, communication. Yeah. Okay. What about you?
You and I disagree on this.
Oh my god,
she's not bothering me. She's not bothering me at all. Like, I still think that all of her feelings are just totally understandable. It's almost like a non-thing. Like, I just have faith that she and Xaden are going to sort it out, and I'm almost not bothered.
Yeah.
I'm just completely gripped by the plot and like everything else that is happening.
Yeah.
And the romance drama to me just isn't taking up a lot of my headspace.
No, I definitely agree with you. Like, and I think we mentioned it in the previous episode, because we're very rarely seeing her and Xaden interact now. Obviously, it's great that we actually get a storyline and we're getting to see the gang together and them sort of like overcoming things together, which I am really enjoying. But also, yeah, Violet is starting to annoy me. But I think Xaden is starting to annoy me too. I think I've reached the point where I'm like, right, can you please just sit down and talk to each other? Whereas I feel like I'm like, oh my god, this just needs to happen now, because there is so much happening.
21 and in love.
She wants him to say I love you, but she's not willing to say I love you, and that's what he wants.
Well, I think that she initially didn't want to be in love with him at all.
But that all came because he obviously broke her trust. So she was like, well, I don't want to love you because I can't trust you, which I know is fair enough, and like we've spoken about this a lot, but now I think I'm just getting frustrated, like I said. But then, because I know we mentioned as well that we hadn't had that much spice in this book, so I'm kind of glad that we finally got something in these 10 chapters. Not that I'm only reading it for spice, but it helps.
It is a necessary part of the books.
Yeah, like I really enjoyed it.
I feel like you are like particularly hung up on her wanting him to say I love you before she has to say it, and this is why I think it's so funny that we disagree, because I'm like, no, I think that's really fair enough. Like, she said I love you in the first book and he didn't say it back, which is quite a sensitive thing anyway, and she was fine with it then. And then it wasn't until he hurt her so badly and she lost that feeling of trust and gained this feeling of insecurity that she's now really thinking, like, he's hyperfixated on whether or not she loves him, but he hasn't even said it yet. Like, dude, come on. Seriously? You're telling her over and over again that you want her to start saying I love you again. You never even said it.
I think this is why I'm getting so frustrated and why I'm like, communication is key, everyone. Because if she just...
What's his problem?
Yeah, but like...
And also, like, I get why she hasn't... I know what you're saying. Communication is key, right? But also, like, I think if I was in her position, I would also not say anything, because I would be like, if I have to tell you to tell me you love me, do you even? Like,
I
have
agree
to
with
force
you.
it out of you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then I don't. Ow.
You're right. It's getting really heated in here.
I almost lost a tooth. I feel like I don't know. I really need to like think about how to say this, because how to word my feelings, because I 100% agree with you. I don't think she should like beg him to say like I love you first. No one should. And I completely understand that she said I love you first and he didn't say it back. That's fine. Not necessarily that she's bitter about it, but she doesn't want to say it again first. I'm not just angry at Violet. I'm angry at Xaden too. Like, I'm getting pissed off at Xaden too, because he's doing all of this, like withholding sex and all of this, and like being a little bit of a jerk, but isn't understanding that like if he just told her how he felt about her, because he's just as like frustrated, and like I feel like
actions speak louder than words.
Actions speak louder than words. He's giving all the actions, but he's not giving any of the words. Like, the words that are coming out of this man's mouth are completely like not working. Change your strategy, man.
Yeah. He's like, he said everything but I love you.
Yeah.
Like, why? Like, what's the disconnect? Because it almost feels like he's trying really hard not to say it, but that's weird because it's obvious that he feels it. So yeah,
exactly.
It's
like
weird.
I feel like the way that when she runs off to see him thinking that he's hurt, and she's basically like, I need you, and he's like, those are the wrong 3 words. I really sat there with my little book and I was pondering on the words I need you and I love you, and like if somebody told me which ones I would prefer, like in that instance, if I was Violet, which one I would prefer. And yeah, I don't know, I thought it was like I don't know if I would have like 100% given in, but also I need you sounds just as good. So yeah, I don't know. I was like, you know what? I understand why she's being the way that she's being, but also, I just need something.
You're just fed up with it now.
Yeah, but like you said, there's other things happening in terms of like in the storyline that is keeping me engaged and engrossed by it all. Like, I really like to see her and the gang back together. Yeah, that's where I'm at. Can we just talk about, first of all, that like they just tried to kidnap everybody, and they tried to go into her room, and if it wasn't for Xaden's like ward, they 100% would have found things that would get her in trouble. Because I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, I guess that's like normal behavior for them. And it, like, that's what they do every year. It's like a hazing, but from the professors. Yeah. I mean, I understand it. I understand in principle, like, there are probably fewer rules in real life around interrogations, so they're like, let's try and make it as real as possible. I guess army cadets probably wouldn't have a whole lot of privacy, and maybe they wouldn't expect it, but yeah, she got lucky there for sure. Like, they were not able to sneak up on her. Yeah, I have my own. I really wanted to talk about the interrogation stuff, specifically because I need to discuss key points around both like Varrish and Dain.
Yeah, because I was also really confused. I don't know. I feel like the way that I read, I'm not digesting everything that I'm reading because I'm so into what's happening. Did I miss that Varrish was the one that was mentoring Dain, or did we just not know that information? Did I miss that completely? Were we told that at any point?
No, we were not. And I definitely think it was supposed to be revealed in that moment. But also, I'm not that surprised about it because we've talked a lot about how Dain's power is mainly seen as a strength at Biscayeth in terms of interrogation.
Yeah.
And so, given that's like Varrish's raison d'etre, or like that's his special, what's it called? You know, when you're doing the quiz and you have like a special topic that's like the thing that you're really good at. What's it called? That's his anyway.
Yeah.
That's his whole thing.
Yeah.
So I guess it didn't surprise me so much. But what I thought there were some really interesting things that both of them brought up. Firstly, if Varrish is training Dain, what is his signet? And is it even relevant? But also, he talks about how he influences his dragon, not the other way around, which makes me think, okay, you know, does your signet somehow enable you to do that? Do you have some kind of manipulation signet or something that gives you way more power with the Empyrean side of things than you ought to have?
That's so interesting because, I mean, no, because if Solus is still at a lower ranking in the dragons, it doesn't really matter how manipulative Varrish is.
I don't know, because we don't really see what goes on in there. But yeah, I get your point.
Because Tairn is still like the big bad wolf amongst the dragons anyway. Like he's still...
Yeah, apart from General Melgren's.
Yeah, but he's not really around. Yeah. I'm sure this probably is something that you also wanted to talk about, but Professor Kaori?
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 Kaori? I don't know.
When the Professor Kaori, I'm just going to go with that.
Kaori. Yeah, right.
Yeah, mentions that, you know, so does that mean that you were the one that told your dragon, that ordered your dragon to kill the... Yeah, I was like, this is such critical information. I need to know if that is right.
I guess we'll find out, hopefully.
Yeah.
I also, from Dain's perspective in this situation, I also had some questions about what was revealed about him in this 10 chapters. So, firstly, he's trying to grow his powers beyond the ability to just see recent memories.
Yeah.
And that's something that Varrish is trying to coach him to do. That's really new information. So I think if they've said it, he's going to do it at some point. The other thing, and it is kind of tied to that, I really wanted to say, how is it possible that Dain doesn't know about the venin? Because think about how many people's memories he has read, both just in passing, because as we've already established, he has no sense of consent, and in the interrogation portion of things, which he's obviously been heavily actively involved in. You're telling me that at no point has he come across the truth of the situation from anyone. And I say this knowing full well that he said in the first book, like, oh, third years never get pulled out of maneuvers. Like, how is he this ignorant, given what his signet is and how often he uses it?
Yeah.
Because he seemed genuine in that moment, and I'm not saying I think he was. I really don't know. But how likely is it that he could have got to this point and not known?
I 100% get you. I'm on the same wavelength. I don't understand. Is that like a plot hole, or does he know? Because I kind of, unrelated to this, another person that we thought didn't know but knew or knows is Arik. That was a big freaking plot twist on my end. I did not expect that at all. So in my head, I was like, who else suspects or knows that there is something going on? Are there more dragon riders that know?
Well, we
that
know
we don't
that
know?
the we know the dragons are split in terms of how they want to deal with this as it is, which is why Tairn and that a lot are doing all this undercover. So I would assume that the majority of dragons just keep it to themselves. I mean, Rhiannon's dragon, Fear,
no,
that one, was apparently shocked to know that Rhiannon knew, but they knew already.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess they were keeping it from her.
I don't know. It just made me be like, right, so who else suspects it? Does I don't think Dain, is as not naive, but like left out on all of this without. Because I'm assuming, even though his dad is like pretty high up, I'm assuming at some point he would have touched his dad. And I don't mean in the way that it came out, but like at some point, I just wonder if he ever stole like any of his dad's memories.
You've got to put both hands on the face to do it. It's quite hard to be subtle.
I don't know. I guess I'm just a very touchy person.
I mean, do you think Dain and his dad have that have that kind of relationship? They're always just like grabbing each other by the face.
I'm so glad you elaborated by the face at the end there. I mean, I don't know. Obviously, it's hard to tell. Hold on, I'm just like readjusting myself. Yeah, well,
what goes on behind closed doors.
Exactly, and I don't mean that in a noncy way, but I just think. I'm sorry.
Nah, it's fine. I didn't think about. I mean, I was implying incest for a laugh, but I didn't think about that.
Yeah, I mean that's what I meant. Oh, like, yeah.
Yeah. Great. Good.
I don't know. This whole thing with Dain, I was surprised when he showed up, and I was more like, "Holy crap, is he gonna do it?" I was even more surprised that he didn't. That he, once Violet said no, he actually took her serious and he stepped away.
Big growth for Dain. You know, maybe we're going to see that redemption arc that I was hoping for. It's definitely a step in the right direction.
I mean,
come on,
yeah,
you've got to admit it.
It was, yeah, I admit it was, and still doesn't make me like him. I feel like, he's got a lot of making up to do, but
Well, Imogen's technically on the good side, and you know how much I hate her guts for no reason.
I don't have anything else to say about Varrish and Dain. I just feel like we've been given a bunch of information, and obviously now we've just been left in the dark to figure out what the fuck happens next. And yeah.
I want to talk about who is on our side potentially and who is not. Like, we're starting to see some potential allegiances. So I wanted to say, which of the professors do you think will be on the right side of things?
I feel like Professor Kaori is definitely on our side, on the good side. Especially, I feel like that little conversation that he had with Violet after she got basically like strip searched by Varrish and his minions really sort of honed it down. But I don't think it's meant to be like as obvious that he chose a team then and there, because that little dig that he did to Varrish saying like, you tend to think that you're above the law in general and not just with the cadets, was a big dig. I was like, oh, like, yeah.
I think Devera is a really interesting one for me. Because you know how I said in the first book that it was Markham who received a scroll and then proceeded not to share the information in Battle Brief.
Yeah.
And I made a point of saying, like, it's Markham. We know for sure. We don't know if it's Markham and Devera or just Markham.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we're kind of getting the impression that Devera does not know.
Yeah.
But what I like is it's really ambiguous. She might.
Yeah.
Because Markham's like head scribe, right?
Yeah. Yeah. That's what
I
I
think he is
thought.
because he was
Yeah.
going to be,
He was going to
yeah,
be
so it
Violet's,
makes
like,
sense.
yeah.
Of course, you'd have him in.
Yeah, he needs to
Devera's
know
not.
because from what I
Yeah.
understand, he's the one that writes like the equivalent of the news to everybody in the kingdom, kind of. Yeah. So he has to know.
Yeah. And he controls the information, crucially, so he's in the key spot.
Yeah.
But Devera, I don't think knows. I'm coming down on that.
Yeah.
She doesn't know. But she's working it out because she pocketed a propaganda leaflet.
I thought it was weird that she
I
did
also
that.
So we've got a few others.
Go on.
Obviously, we've got Nolan. I think we know which side Nolan's eventually going to come down. He's obviously under some duress.
Yeah.
I say that like it's super obvious. I think he's going to come down on our side.
Yeah.
Feel free to disagree, but
No, I agree.
So I've got 3 other professors here. I thought I would just mention in passing. So we've got Grady, Professor Grady, the guy who's doing the interrogation. I get the impression that he's like so far completely in the dark because he was just really pleased that they escaped. He was
he just seemed like he was doing his job. He reminded me of like an English teacher for some reason. Like they're just happy and they love what they do and they really care about their students. Yeah.
He was like, I'm locking you up and I'm going to just go and chill outside and see what happens. Yeah. We've got Professor Carr, who I'm finding really interesting. I think he knows, but I don't think that he's necessarily going to stay on the wrong side. I think it's an interesting one, a really interesting one for me. He strikes me as like, he didn't seem that okay with Varrish trying to burn Violet out.
Yeah.
He didn't do anything.
Yeah.
And I got the impression that he really knew 100% what was happening, but I didn't get the impression that he was pro it. And he has given Violet some pretty solid advice before from the possible standpoint of somebody who knows what's going on, but would rather Violet survived.
Yeah, definitely. I was going to say, I do feel like he is more aware of like who's in charge at the minute. Like Varrish is pretty scary. I feel like some of the professors are also afraid of him. It's giving like Snape vibes.
Really? I was gonna say Professor Umbridge. Actually.
Oh yeah. Apologies.
To Umbridge. Bad for not giving you the recognition you deserve.
Yeah, sorry, girl. Yeah.
I guess the last part of the kind of sides forming bit to go over is Cam/Arik.
Love him. Yeah.
The simple fact that he knows and he's not just coming to the Riders Quadrant because that's what he wants to do with his life really changes the playing field. So consider a situation where the next rebellion is successful and there's a power vacuum.
Yeah.
This creates a really interesting potential future scenario for me. Who are the contenders? You may have Cam/Arik as the only rebelling member of the royal family who might arguably then have a claim to the throne by blood if he's popular enough. You could also say Xaden has a decent shot because he's also of nobility and the son of the previous rebellion leader. So he's probably got more of a shot than Violet. Although Violet, in a situation where the military takes control, Violet has a pretty decent chance of high leadership, but I don't think she's gonna be top.
I don't know because of she's not shown any interest in sort of like going higher.
Power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I guess we're not really thinking about Brennan. Because it seems like
Brennan.
on the other side, in their little village,
Yeah.
Brennan is leading. I don't know.
How much does Cam/Arik care about his dad's situation were there to be a power shift? Because I think he knows about the venin, but I don't think he knows about any of the rest of this stuff.
No, I don't think so. I think yeah. Also,
he might have some concerns if they bring him in, not just for himself and what happens to him if the throne is overthrown, but what happens to his dad and the rest of his family. Like, how reliable is he? Anyway, I just thought it was an interesting.
I hadn't thought about it, but yeah, no, it's a really good point, actually.
We know it's going to be dragon v dragon again. It's going to be, because the dragons are already in disagreement about this, and it almost feels like somehow how those lines are drawn are going to be more down to the beliefs of the dragons than their riders, because arguably as a rider you're just at the mercy of whatever dragon you end up with. You don't really get a choice.
Yeah, which is interesting because of the way that they choose their humans.
Yeah. So what does Kath think? What does Dain's dragon think?
Oh, yeah. I'd be so interested in seeing, I know we said this before, like seeing how their relationship actually is. Because I do think
They're both
that
just, like, nerding out on the codex together.
Yeah.
Saluting. Their various flags and statues of leadership as they go to bed at night.
Oh my God.
Shining their armor and their scales, singing their national Empyrean anthem.
Before he goes to sleep, instead of counting sheep, he just like reads the codex in his mind.
It's like a one dragon, one man circle jerk.
Oh God. Liking the episode? Let us know how we're doing in the comments below. But please, no spoilers. And don't forget, you can find us at don'ttell_theboys on Instagram, TikTok, Threads, and YouTube. We're all over the place. Make sure to follow us to stay updated with your new book besties.
There's one more point.
Go on.
Shout out to Jack for still being alive.
Oh my God.
I knew it.
I wanted to, when I read it, because I only finished it last night. When I read it, I kid you not, I like shut the book, popped it on my pillow, looked at my man, and I was like, I was looking around like I needed somebody to talk to, and I didn't have any, like, it was like 11 p.m. I was like, I can't message her right now. But I was like, what's just happened? What's just happened? I know that you've been saying this for a while now, that you think he's alive. And as soon as they were like, he showed up, I was like, holy fucking shit, she was right. I was like, she was right.
Okay, it's just a conspiracy wall in here.
Yeah.
You know? All the
wheels are like constantly turning.
Pictures of Jack's face and like alive question marks. I'll be honest, I'd worked it out by the time that Nolan and Varrish had their conversation about returning to their patient, because I was like, okay, it's confirmed. If it's been one patient this entire time, then it's obviously really serious. And also we know that Caroline Ashton, Jack's little something, I'm not really sure what, has been working with Nolan or in on this in some capacity.
Yeah.
We've seen Bade, like, she's shown up seemingly randomly and then disappeared again, and it feels like we're just having these things dropped. It's definitely Jack. Yeah. So I was feeling quite smug. I do think it's interesting. Why has Varrish personally gone to all of this effort?
Yeah, I think it's definitely because he knows the relationship that Jack has got with Violet. I think that has gotten back to him.
Do you think that's all? Because I still think we don't know what Jack's signet is.
But we
We've
didn't know, did
experienced
we?
it.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we've
True.
sort of
I forgot that we
experienced
experienced it. Yeah.
but Varrish has an interest in Jack. Jack has something Varrish wants and or needs, wants
Yeah.
to make use of. And that's just the first thing I thought of.
Yeah.
I said he had like he seemed to have like the signet version of like the Cruciatus curse by touch. So I don't know, maybe it's just another interrogation thing that Varrish would love to have on hand.
Yeah.
I do have a bit of a prediction that that Jack is going to be brought into Violet's interrogation at some point.
Are they going to have another one, do you think?
Oh yeah, I reckon they'll do another one. Varrish isn't done yet. He was just using that as cover. I also want to know more about Caroline now.
Mm-hmm.
You know when she was newly bonded?
Yeah.
She bonded a dragon that had died, and Jack was like, I told you it would work. Now I'm sitting here thinking, maybe it was nothing to do with that. Maybe you've been working on something this entire time that we've not known anything about. And actually you did have a connection to Varrish via that, like prior to this.
Oh.
Maybe I was off. So I don't know. My brain's just all over the place. I got the
Yeah.
red string out. I'm just tying it between different people's faces and writing big scrawled semi-crazed letters next to them right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that
Okay.
gives us a
Well.
good segue into our character rankings because
Yeah.
we need to sit down and sort of revisit where we are.
I'm ready to cast judgment on some characters after these 10 chapters.
I love that.
Who have we got?
Okay, so if you are listening to our podcast episode, I would highly recommend heading over to the video option and watching the videos so that you can see us moving around all the characters. Otherwise, you will not be getting the best experience for this episode. So I'm going to give you a second. Go do that now.
Okay.
Let's do Selena first. So Selena, I don't know. I feel like I kind of liked the little banter that she had with Violet about her, obviously Tairn being still a badass and all this, and yeah. I really liked the little back and forth that they had. I just want to say meh as of now.
Yeah, but like closer to the top of meh.
Yeah. What, near Cam?
Mm-hmm. I'm actually just looking at it now and I'm like, no, what do you think? Above or below Bo Diddy?
I forgot that his name was wrong.
I told you to leave it. He's Bo Diddy now.
I was like, who's that? I actually would put her in between Bo Diddy and Desinia.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Done.
Yeah, okay, we'll move other characters later. Professor Emeterio. I just basically looked up all the new professors and I don't think we've met him yet, or unless I've just completely...
Yeah, he's I don't remember what it is he teaches, but he was the one who gave Violet the advice when she came back after like flying to see Xaden.
Yeah.
Like if you were one of my favorites, of which I of course don't have, I would suggest you do this.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, you know what, solid. Like that guy could come down on our sides.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That seems good to me.
See, in that case, I would put him with like Brennan and Mira, or like there between Brennan and Bo Diddy.
Yeah, let's give him one up on Bo Diddy. I still have yet to really grow attached to Bo Diddy, I have to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. I think he's doing a good job as second in command to Rhiannon, sorry. Interesting one. Cat.
Yeah, so I feel like we haven't really got much from Cat yet.
Mm-hmm.
And also I want to put her in adorable disaster because obviously she's not given a great first impression, but also I'm like, do you know what? We don't really know what happened. And I'm not gonna hate on the ex just because she
It's the
happened to
ex.
be there before.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a girl's girl. Let's find out.
Should we put her above the king? Because
Yeah,
she's not as
her above
nowhere near as
king.
Dain. Okay, Professor Carr.
Yeah. Again, I'm liking him more and more. Like, the meh column is getting too big, but I still think he goes in there.
Yeah.
I think he goes. I want to put him below Mira.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No.
Yeah, and we haven't heard from him for a while, but I think it's time that he joins the ranks.
No, I definitely would put him in the meh category. Professor Kaori.
Professor Kaori, he's at least a raw, like a rar, even not a raw.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to put him down as a rar, but yeah, put him under Sawyer because Sawyer's now going up for me. Finally, I feel like I'm liking Sawyer.
Sawyer, yeah. Okay, we'll get into that. Professor Devera.
Yeah. I kind of want to put her above Kat because I'm liking her, but I feel like she's had the wool pulled over her eyes for so long now, if she is even on our side, that I want to say that she needs to pull her socks up. So come on, Professor Devera. You could aspire to be a meh.
True. I really hope, I really hope that something happens and we get to see more of her and that she can move up. And speaking of moving up, I really want to move Riddock to Roar.
Yeah. Okay.
With Sawyer.
Yeah.
I really like that when Violet sort of like brings the gang back together, he kind of, because so far I felt like he has like really good one-liners and then that was it. And him knowing about the vault and no one else knowing about the vault was so random. I was like, wait, you're giving like really good information here. Yeah. And
I liked that.
Yeah.
It didn't really affect how much I liked him, but I'm happy for you to move him if you want. Okay. I have yet to fall in love with him.
Oh, okay. I'm getting there. It doesn't take a lot. Let's just go top to bottom.
I've got some characters I want to move.
Yeah.
Listen, people I want to move.
Go on.
First of all, I think that I want to move Cam up into the raw next question.
Agree.
No, raw next question, not even raw. Just like put him straight up to the top for now. I'm really liking him. We can move him if he pisses me off later.
Yeah.
That's where I want him to go. And also, I want to move Brennan down. I'm pissed off at Brennan now.
Oh, okay.
For this one fucking quote from the beginning of a chapter. I don't know if you read it, where he was basically like, at some point you'll realize that your relationship between you and your squad members even trumps that of your family. And I was like, you know what, Brennan? Fuck you.
Yeah.
That is not what I wanted to hear from the guy that made his family grieve him already. And I get it. I know why you did it.
Yeah.
But like I said before, it doesn't mean that your choices don't have consequences. And that is not what I wanted to hear from Brennan. All I'm hearing is that Violet, not that important to him really anymore. So fuck you.
Oh, okay. I don't really have an argument against that, but yeah. Oh my god.
I want to put him below. You just moved Major Varrish up to adorable disaster.
I didn't mean to. Where's he gone? There.
I think he was in like a plague on both their houses, I think.
Was he?
I think he was anyway.
That's
Can you
fine.
Control Z on that thing or
No.
No. Oh no. Oh no. I just made it worse.
Oh, now I can't go forward. I don't know how to go forward. Right, hold on.
We'll fix it later.
Yeah, that's fine. We'll fix it later. That's so funny.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want Brennan to go
Tolerable.
above King Taori.
Okay.
Or Tori. Is it Tauri or Tori? It's Tori now, you know.
Tori.
King Tori. I want to move King Tori down as well to I can't with you because I'm not liking what I'm hearing about him. And
Yeah.
anyone else? Nope. I think that's it.
Yeah. Let me just have a quick look because I feel like
are we going to have a fight?
look, maybe not this time round, but I feel like we are reaching a point where we might have to move Dain. Even if it is still in the tolerable, but like closer to.
We moved him up last time, and I think we were like, this is because we feel like we might be ready to forgive him sometime soon, but we can move him back down if it turns out that he doesn't deserve it. And I feel like right now he's deserving it. But I feel like we moved him preemptively, so we don't have to move him any higher for now if you don't want to.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's fine. I think this is it.
Okay. I am warm. You can tell because my face is so thin. I've got like proper. Also, I feel like my camera is still right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyway. So I feel like this 10 chapters is kind of cut and dry, so it's kind of hard to come up with any red flag, green flags, but I've come up with a couple.
Okay.
So we'll see how they go. And if some of them are rubbish, I'll just cut them out in post. It'll be fine.
Okay.
So the first one, red flag or green flag, Rhiannon immediately telling her dragon Violet's secret after Violet shares it with her.
I would have said red flag initially. But I was against Tairn and Undana basically lying to Violet and keeping secrets. So actually, I think Rhiannon having that kind of relationship with the dragon is a good thing. So I'm going to say it's a green flag. It's a questionable green flag, but a green flag.
So my feelings towards this, I might come down on the other side because I think it's safe to say that Rhiannon's dragon already knew, and that was a safe assumption. You know, they did already know.
Yeah.
And had not told Rhiannon and was also shocked that Rhiannon knew. And it got me thinking, and I was like, when you share this secret, you're not just sharing it with a person. You're sharing it with a person whose dragon is then going to know that you shared it. And as we've already established here, we don't know what the allegiance of any given dragon is. So you're basically at the risk of outing yourself. And she's just told 3 people in one go. Presumably now their dragons now know they know.
Yep.
We don't know what their dragons' stances are on this. And for all we know, now all the dragons know that Violet knows. And she's just put the whole cat out the bag.
Oh, I hadn't thought about
Yeah.
it like that. I think the only thing that I thought about was, maybe Rhiannon didn't specifically like tell her dragon. It was kind of
But she didn't have a choice.
yeah, like in my
Yeah.
mind, no one else has that mental shield that's as strong as Violet. So maybe it just kind of like she just read her mind or like heard her thought kind of thing. That's how I imagine the bond works. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm kind of coming down on the red flag side of things because I think that's super dangerous.
Yeah.
But I do appreciate that Rhiannon may not have had a choice. And obviously her intentions are good. And if anything, it's short-sighted of Violet not to think of that.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see what happens next.
Yeah.
Because even if you trust the person, it's like Xaden's dilemma with Violet, right? If you trust Violet, but Dain could still read her memories, like, can you tell her? And I know I got annoyed at Xaden because it's like you could at least have told her that he was reading her memories. Like that would have been really helpful. But Tairn was like Xaden already knew Tairn's allegiance, whereas Violet doesn't know what Sawyer, Riddick, and Rhiannon's dragons think. Side they come down on.
Which is probably
So,
why he's been so against her spilling the beans.
Yeah. And again, like you said, communication.
Communication.
But they really haven't had much time, to be fair to them, to really get into it. Red flag, green flag. Dain challenging Violet on the mat.
Big fucking red flag.
Okay.
Like,
you don't think that was an example of good communication?
Absolutely not. Like, if don't. I mean,
she wasn't going to talk to him otherwise, right?
No, I know. So. I know that. And I know that that's why he did it, because it was technically the only way that he was going to get to speak to her. However, no. I don't know. I just thought red flag. And yeah. I feel like at this point as well, I was still really mad at Dain. Like, I didn't think he could be. I don't know. I'm still unsure about his redeemable qualities, but yeah.
I mean, I'm just laughing because I feel like we talked a lot last season about the double standard between Dain's behavior and Xaden's.
Oh yeah.
I feel like if it was Xaden doing that to Violet when they had a fight, I think we'd have been like, oh my god, that's so hot.
So true. Yeah.
Exactly.
I think it's because I think it's because we don't trust him. I think it's because like we don't know where he stands. Whereas with Xaden, I mean, we didn't really know where he stood, but he also hadn't threatened Violet at any point. Like, he's never risked her life, whereas Dain has. I don't know.
I don't know that I would agree with that statement.
No.
The thing is, for me, like I'm like butting heads with you a lot over the Dain thing right now, and it's not like, I'm gonna clarify this because I know that people in the comments can be like, why do you love Dain so much? I don't love Dain, but I like to kind of appreciate the hypocrisy here around like, oh, if Xaden does it, it's okay, but if Dain does it, it's an ick. And I just think it's really funny that, you know, if I was to take it really objectively, I'd probably be like, this is a green flag. Like, he is trying his absolute best to mend this however he can. Like, if we want him to do better, he has to do better. Yeah. And we can't be annoyed at him every time he does better. And like, he forced a conversation with her to try and at least just open the dialogue so that he could find somewhere to start. And then he forfeit, which, as we know, for Dain is like a big thing because he's got all this pride. So he's trying. And like, I'm doing my best to just not be like super biased about that and just accept that he's trying.
Yeah.
Which is, it's just funny for me because obviously I'm still Team Xaden ultimately, even though I'm giving him a really hard time.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Go on, give me your counter argument. Do you think that it's like, do you think that there is hypocrisy, or do you actually think it's totally fine?
No, I think we definitely tend to forgive and forget when it's Xaden, and when it comes to Dain, we're a little bit harsher. And they definitely both have done things where we should have technically, we should technically hold Xaden more accountable for some of the stuff that he does. But I don't know. At the minute, I'm still very like anti Dain, anti Dain.
To me, it's an obvious, like, Xaden over Dain. Dain's a bad guy right now. Xaden's a good guy right now. Like, you can make it that simple.
Yeah.
It just makes me. I enjoy that when you really drill it down to the details. It's actually really hard for you to justify why you treat these characters so differently.
Yeah.
And I guess I get a weird kick out of it.
Yeah, because right now, yeah, I 100% agree. Because right now they've both sort of broken her trust. They're both right at the same level. So yeah, like, what do we don't even know what these men look like. Why are we like so
right?
Like,
and why does that matter?
Yeah.
Right? Like, that shouldn't matter. But you know, one of them is like a shadow daddy, and the other one's Dain. So
the other one's Dain. I love that.
right.
Yeah.
Red flag, green flag. Xaden's threat to abandon Romeo if they destabilize the wards.
I don't know, you know. Like, I was kind of taken back by his statement. I don't think it's a red flag. I don't know.
Yeah, you have to pick one. No beige flags here.
I think because I can't have a beige flag, I think I'd have to go for a red flag. Because he's... How can you go against everything that you've, like, fought for so far? Just, yeah. That's kind of, I don't know.
I know. I mean...
That one was a really difficult one.
Mainly because I think he's bluffing. I don't think he meant it.
Yeah.
I think he's just trying to take like a really hard line with them. So a lot of me being able to say green flag is based on the assumption that he's bluffing. The rest of the green flag, I guess, is... I guess it's good that he is not trying to gamble with the safety of Navarre, even though he is trying to help Parmigiano. Yeah, I guess that's good. So that was like my other justification.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I saw that as a... First of all, I think I misunderstood the question. Second of all, I think I went for a red flag because in my mind, I'm like, you are trying to save all of these people, and even if you are bluffing or if you're not bluffing, that's a lot of people that you are willing to, like, let them die. But
yeah,
I mean, I
know.
So
that was a tough one.
Yeah,
those are my red flag, green flags.
They were really good.
Thank you, because I really wasn't sure about that last one. I was like, so I guess we can wrap up. Although I wanted to wrap up with, it's not a prediction exactly, but more of a musing.
Go on.
I was just going about my business, and it suddenly occurred to me: would Violet actually die if Tairn died? Because she's got 2 dragons. And I feel like that's not something we've ever even considered before. But will she die if one of them dies, or will she only die if both of them die? And that is going to keep me up at night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have the facilities to discuss that. I have thought about it, but basically my judgment at the minute is clouded by some fan theories I accidentally came across on Instagram. So I don't want to discuss in case it all blends together and I accidentally say something that I do not believe in.
Okay.
But it's an interesting thought.
Okay. Well, and I guess on that note, we'll wrap up the episode and we will see everybody again next week.
See you next week.
Please, if you liked this podcast episode, then leave us a review, like, subscribe so you can listen to future episodes. If you are reading Iron Flame along with us, we'd like to hear your thoughts on it so far. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Are you having really strong feelings one way or the other about any of the stuff that we've said this episode? We'd really like to hear it. No spoilers, but we would love to hear if you thought the same thing when you're at this point in the book. Let us know. And I think that's everything. We will see you next week.
See you next week.
Rawr.
Join us as we read and react to Fourth Wing for the first time. Find out if I loved it, if Cheska hated it, who's hot, who's not. We'll also be doing other fun things like character rankings, fuck, marry, kill, would you rather, and answering your questions. Follow us across social media at don'ttell_the_boys. And finally, please rate our podcast after you decided you like it.